Oh, Dusty wanted to be in the video. Say hi. Say hi, I'm Dusty. Oh, and we have Lady here. You can't really see her. She's right below the camera. They wanted to be in the video. Lady, do you want to say hi? Come here. Say hi. Say hi. Oh, this is Lady. Oh my God. One of these dogs just farted. It stinks so bad. Oh my God. Hi, I'm Tabby Bell and welcome back to my channel. So today I have a crazy story time video for you guys. I cannot believe I actually did this when I was a kid, but first I wanted to point out that I am wearing my Tom Brady jersey because we are going back to the Super Bowl 53. Yes. If you hate Tom Brady, if you hate me, you can click right out of this video, no problemo. But if you want to hear a crazy story time, well, keep on watching. Okay, so before we get into this story time, I just want to preface this video by saying, Mom, I am so sorry that we put you through this. It was just a really bad idea, and as a child, I didn't realize that it was that bad of an idea. Now that I am 23 years old and I'm looking back on this, I can't believe that we even went that far with it, but we did. So this video obviously has nothing to do with makeup, so if that's what you were looking for, I am so sorry, but here we go. Okay, so this happened when I was young. I'm not gonna say what age, but I still live in the area, and I'm afraid if this becomes like a thing one day, I don't know, that they might like put two and two together. And I don't know, I could just see this going bad for some reason. So this story, I was a lot younger, okay? I was a minor, and my brother was as well. So hold on, lady, go lay down. Come on, mama. My brother-in-law's dog is right here. So if you see little puppy ears, that's what she's doing. I don't want her to be alone in the living room, so she's in here with me because it's my main girl. Okay, so where this story starts, this is about me and my brother, and what you should know is me and my brother, we were raised by a single mom. So my mom had to work all the time to take care of my brother and I. And my brother and I, at this time, we weren't children, but we weren't like adults either. So we were old enough to be at home by ourselves. We were grown enough to be at home, but we lived in an apartment complex. So even if something were to go wrong or were to happen, my mom had friends that we could go to, that we could go across, knock on the door. And actually the apartment we lived in, my mom was friends with the neighbors right across, like in front of us. So if anything were to happen, I could literally go knock on their door and be like, hey, something's going on, and they would be there. So it wasn't really a big deal that we weren't in daycare and we didn't have like a nanny or a babysitter. So this story takes place in the middle of summer, and me and my brother, you know, my mom would go to work in the morning and we would stay home during the day because, again, of that age where we could. And I remember so many things. Me and my brother would fight all summer. It didn't matter. I was such a bad big sister to him. God, I was the worst big sister. Like, I did so much. I could literally give 100 million story times on things that were screwed up that I did to my brother during the summer, but that really wouldn't look good on me. I'm sure he would love for me to share those because he would love to just be like, yeah, she really did that. But so my little brother Ethan, he was always a really cool kid. I'm trying to build up a backstory here because I want you guys to understand why this happened and everything that goes into it. But my brother, he's a really, really cool kid. He has always been really quiet and like to himself, and he is incredibly intelligent and incredibly athletic. So growing up, I was kind of the black sheep of the family because I wasn't really intelligent, wasn't really athletic, wasn't really smart. Like, I was just kind of like this, who am I kind of girl. And my brother just had it all figured out. Like, his teachers loved him, commended him. He was gifted in baseball. He was an amazing pitcher and fast runner and smart and just did everything right. And we kind of always had it out for each other because of that, because I'm just this, like, I mostly was into like hanging out with friends and doing crazy stuff, and he's just this super all-American kid, you know what I mean? And so he was always like, you're too crazy, you're too loud, you're annoying. And I was like, yeah, well, you're a nerd. And we always just had it out for each other. We really do love each other. We just like to give that front like we don't love each other. The one main benefit that we had from growing up in an apartment complex was we had lots of friends around us and lots of kids around us to play with. In our apartment complex, it wasn't like a decaying apartment complex. It was pretty cool. We had a big, huge pool. We had lots of sidewalks and it was fenced in. Like, we had lots of areas to play. There was lots of grassy areas. We had a lot of amenities there, and therefore we had, you know, all the kids would come out to play. So we had lots and lots of groups of friends. And my brother would always hang out with the kids who like skateboarded and rode bikes. Me too. I did too. We liked to skateboard. We liked to ride bikes. And then there were the girls and the guys, and we all just kind of hung out. And then when our parents would go down to the pool, we would all go together and play together. Whenever, you know, we would go over to each other's houses, we were always in the same neighborhood. Like, it was fun. Realistically, it was a good time because all our friends lived right around us and we were all real close and hung out, which was great. Truly, truly great. We had a great time. So, leading up to this event, I had a friend, I'll call her Michaela, okay? So I had this friend named Michaela, and then my brother had these two twin friends. They were like, well, they weren't twins. They were like the two brothers, but one was younger than the other, or like a year younger, but they looked a lot alike. So this one night, me and this girl, Michaela, were going to stay at her house for the night, her apartment for the night, and her parents were not there. But my mom didn't know that her parents were not there, but all the other kids knew. Because when one of your parents isn't there, you all know, and you're all like, let's go to that apartment tonight, like, live it up, right? So I told my friend Michaela, I was like, hey, let's go stay at your apartment tonight because your parents aren't there. It'll be a good time. So she invited this other girl to come stay there who was older than me, and Michaela was a year younger than me. So this girl was a year older than me and 2 years older than Michaela. And so my mom was like, okay, go stay at Michaela's, because I normally stayed there all the time. Like, Michaela's parents never went out of town. I was always there. She knew Michaela's parents. It was cool because she got it. Like, she was like, okay, she trusted Michaela's parents. So she didn't at that time think that anything would be different than what it had been already. Well, my brother was hanging out with his friends that night too. Sometimes we would do that in the summer. We would just go stay at our friend's house, and that's just what we did. My mom didn't mind. She was always right at home if we wanted to come home. She didn't go out, she didn't go party, she didn't do anything. She was right there. So if we ever needed her, she would be right there. So here's where everything starts happening. So that night, me and my friends were in this apartment, and it was a bottom floor apartment. These were only 2-story apartments, so there was a top floor and a bottom floor. We were on this bottom floor, and I was hanging out with my friends, and everything was normal. And all of a sudden, my brother comes and knocks on the door. Like, hey, what's going on? You know, he's my little brother. I'm like, hey, what's going on? He's like, hey, I'm gonna go stay with my friends tonight. And I'm like, okay, cool. You know, I figured he already went and told my mom, but me and my brother were friends, like we talked to each other. So he told me he was going to stay at his friend's house. So here's the apartment I'm staying at, right? If you went through here, there was a long sidewalk, and then right in front, like it was like, here's another building right here, and then if you keep going and go up, that's where they were staying, at the top apartment, like one building in between us. So okay, cool, go stay with your friends, everything, whatever. Then me and my friends were having a good night. We're girls, we're having a good night, we're gossiping, we're just hanging out, nobody's there, there's no parents there, we're listening to music, we're doing girly, boring crap that you do when you're a young girl, right? And then Michaela, all of a sudden, and let me tell you guys, she was a little drama queen, okay? Nobody ever really believed what she said. Like, she was just always looking for attention. She was just little Miss Priss, right? Well, she goes into the living room and stays there for a minute, and then comes back into her room where we were, and she goes, oh my God, those guys are trying to look in the windows. And I'm like, what guys? And the older girl's like, Michaela, you're tripping, just chill. Like, she was kind of a bitch. Like, I remember that from the moment I met her, and I could see why Michaela liked her, because Michaela was Lil Miss Priss, and this girl was like Queen Priss. She was just like, oh my God, I am the best thing that ever happened. You know what I mean? So I'm sitting there and I'm like, guys, can we hang out? Can we listen to music? Like, let's talk about boys. Let's do something, you know? And Michaela comes back in. She's forgetting about it, whatever. And she starts to look at me with the side of her eye and look at me from the side of her eye. And finally, I'm like, can I help you? I didn't say that. I was just like, what? What are you looking at? And she's like, they're right there. And I looked, and behind me was a window. And I'm like, what? She's like, they're looking in the window. And she was saying it real quietly, and I couldn't really understand what she was saying. But then I was like, here we go. Some more drama for Michaela to start. So I turn around, and no kidding, they were literally peeking in the window. And at this time, the bigger girl, the older girl we were with, gets pissed because she apparently had been changing clothes. Like, they were trying on each other's clothes and like doing all this girly stuff. Meanwhile, I'd been in the bed. I had just gotten like one of my newer cell phones, like first cell phones. So I was just kind of, you know, into my cell phone. And I was lucky because my dad always bought me like the newest cell phone, the nicest cell phone. So I was really into my cell phone. And this girl goes, are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? And just starts freaking out. And I'm like, Michaela, dude, what are we going to do? And they were literally looking in the window. And this girl just sits on the bed and she's like, I just want to go home. I'm not doing this. And so I walk outside and I said, Michaela, my brother's with those boys. Let me just go talk to him. So I go up, knock on the door, and my brother and the two boys come to the door. And I said, were y'all just looking in our window? And the two boys, they're like, no, why would we want to look in your window? Y'all are fat, y'all are ugly, y'all are stupid. Like, just such bratty little snotty nosed kids. I don't even know if my brother hung out with them. You could tell they were like the straight redneck kind of kids. Like, they were raised just to be trash. Like, no offense, but that's, sorry, but they were. Their parents were just kind of like trashy people, and like they just didn't watch their kids very well. And my brother, I'm looking at him and he's not saying a word. And it looks like they've said, you know, like now thinking back on it, like they said, don't say anything to your sister. They're not saying anything. They're saying they didn't. So I go back to the girl's house, and when we get back there, and all of a sudden, my little brother comes to the door, and he is going to stay with Michaela's big brother. But Michaela's big brother was like in college or something. I don't remember. But my little brother was going to come hang out, play video games with him. And he said, Tabby, they were looking in the window. And I said, yeah, well, we figured that out by now. Thanks, Ethan. Like, no help to you. But he was in the living room, and I sit down, and my brother's in the living room, and we're all just walking through, hanging out now as a group, kind of. And I'm like, I have a suggestion. Ding, ding, right here. And everybody's like, what? What? I'm like, let's get them back. What do you mean get them back? Get them back what? I'm like, well, tomorrow's like a Thursday or something. Like, let's egg their house. You know, the whole 9 yards. Michaela's parents aren't home. The fridge is there. Let's get eggs. Anything we need, toilet paper. And then everybody's like, toilet paper. Like, oh, we could throw mustard. We could throw da-da-da. And my brother is like really into this right now. And he's like, yeah, let's get them back. Like, and I'm like, okay. So we all go to sleep at Michaela's house. Cool. In the morning, Michaela's parents were still not going to be there for another day. So we're like up and ready and prepping. Like, we're getting, guys, so the people who are involved in this are me, Michaela, the girl Michaela was hanging out with, my little brother, and that's it. Just us four. So just the four of us were doing this. So we're getting eggs. We got eggs, mustard, ketchup, pancake syrup, toilet paper. I'm trying to think of what else we had. We had so much junk. We just grabbed anything we could to destroy their house. We just wanted to, in reality, we just wanted to say, hey, that's for, you know, for sneaking and looking through our window. That's all we wanted to do. So we grab all this stuff and we start going up toward their apartment. And I'm the dumb girl who volunteers to knock on the door initially. And may I mind you, it is daytime, so all of the parents are at work. My mom's already gone to work. The kids that we were knocking on their door, the two little boys, their parents were already at work. Michaela's parents were out of town, so none of our parents are here. Probably not many adults in the whole apartment complex are there because it's summer and it's like, what, I think like 11 in the morning. So I go and knock on the door and I have eggs in my hands. And as soon as they open the door, bap, bap, I just start throwing them on like the door panel, like, you know, inside, because I'm not going to straight throw them at their face, right? And he slams the door in their face. So all these kids climb the stairs and start squirting ketchup and mustard and throwing eggs on their balcony at their like glass door and like start throwing rolls of toilet paper, and everything is just crazy. And I'm having the time of my life, man. They come out and they are pissed and they're like, what are you doing? My mom is gonna come home. She's gonna kill you. And my brother takes mustard and squirts it on their carpet when this kid opens the door. And that's when I'm like, oh no. Because I've learned like what mustard does. It stains. Chances of you getting that out, slim to none, if it's not immediately. And then all the kids start coming and squirting ketchup and squirting all this crap. And oh my God, I just remember I was like, oh no, this is not good. This is not going to end well for any of us. So they slam the door again. And I'm like, okay, we got it. It's enough. And Michaela all of a sudden is having the time of her life, and she's like, no, and she's screaming, and she's like, you did this, you peeked in our window, and da 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 da, and the kids are like, no, we didn't peek in your window, and my brother's like, yes, you did, yeah, and I look around, and he's just in pure rage. The little boy, the younger boy, comes out of his house holding a knife. A knife! This little boy has a knife, and he is at the top of the stairwell. I swear to God, I'm telling the dead truth. Looks down with this knife in his hand and throws it at my little brother. My little brother picks up that knife, goes out, and stabs a hole in their dad's truck tire. Now, I may have not mentioned this earlier, but his dad is a policeman. The reason his truck was there and he was at work is because he drives a squad car. And the mom apparently drops him off at work every day so that he can use his squad car. And then he comes home and uses that truck. All of these kids are freaking out, running around. And finally, I'm like, guys, we have to go. We have to go. I tell my brother to go home, not to in the apartment we were staying the night, to our apartment, which is like 2 buildings down, but it's like a long ways down. So my brother takes off running because even at that age, I know you don't need to be getting in trouble for this. Go. All of a sudden, these kids turn and just have this look of, oh my God. Before I could even turn and look at what they're looking at, they have my arm. This middle-aged guy has got my arm like this. Mind you, I am covered head to toe in ketchup and mustard and all this crap, but mainly ketchup. And he thinks it's blood. And he grabs my arm and he doesn't say a word to me. He just pulls me into the office building of my apartment complex and sits me down and calls my mom. And I'm the only one, by the way, again, hi, me, that got pulled into the office for this. And they call my mom and they tell her what happened, and I have to tell her we egged the house. And they were like, why did you do this? Why would you? And I explained what happened, and my mom's pissed, and they said, why are you holding her there? What are you doing? You can't hold my daughter there. She needs to go to the house. And they said, ma'am, you need to get home from work because you're going to have damages to take care of. So eventually I'm like, start crying, and I'm like, I'm sorry. It's not my mom's fault. It's my fault. Like, they were sneaking in the window. Long story short, my mom comes home. She's livid. The parents of the little boys come home. They are livid, yelling at my mom. My mom's yelling at them. And luckily, they had no proof that my brother stabbed the tire. Pleading the fifth on that one. Police did come when my mom got home, and they made us clean it. They brought these water hoses out from the apartments. The apartments brought them water hoses. So we had to clean off the stairs, all the front porch, the inside of their door. We had to clean it all by hand. Just me, Michaela, and my brother. The 2 little bratty boys didn't have to do anything, but whatever. We did the damage, so our fault. Big girl, I don't even know where she went. She never came back. But yeah, so that's what happened. It was miserable. I still remember having to clean that crap up today, and it was the hardest thing that I've ever probably done. My mom was so mad. God, I would rather die 1,000 deaths than go through that again, okay? Mom, I'm sorry. Ethan, if you're hearing this story, I am so sorry that I'm putting you on blast, but you know you did it. You know you did it. It's okay. We're adults now. We grew up. Look at us. Well, look at you. You're doing well. I'm sitting in a floor telling stories about my childhood. But anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this story. I want to do more story times. I've had a blast doing story times, and I think it's so much fun, and I have really good stories to tell. I've got like the juice, you know what I mean? Not the tea. Tea is lame. I got the juice. Okay.
So if you haven't joined my channel yet, what are you doing? Come on, join. I'm Tabby Bell, and I would love to have you as part of my Tabby team and part of my Patriots team too, if you want to jump on. If you are subscribed, hit that little bell so that you are notified when all my videos are uploaded in the future. You can follow me at all social media at tabibellbeauty, and thank you for watching, you guys. I love all of you, and I thank you for all of your love and support, and it means the world to me, and I will be back with more videos ASAP. Okay? Okay? Okay. Bye, guys. Thank you so much. Love ya. Bye.